Right, today we're going to do a what's in the bag, but with a bit of a twist, because I'd basically like to replace pretty much everything in my bag and the bag itself actually. So we're going to do, yeah, what's in the bag, but also what I want in the bag, so the clubs I'd like to replace them with. Start with driver, shall we? This is a Callaway Great Big Bertha Epic, and it's the Sub-Zero, which is the low spinning head. Got it in 9 degrees, and I've got it set just to standard. Shaft is a Aldila Rogue Max multi-axial 65S. So I don't really know what too much that means. Obviously 65 grams, and the S must be a stiff shaft. I wasn't actually fitted for this, so I had a driver fitting about 6 years ago at Ping, and I bought a Ping G LS Tech. And I had that in the bag for probably a year and a half, but then I was given this from a golf magazine that I was working for at the time. Did a bit of testing both on launch monitor and on the course. The numbers were pretty much the same, but I just kind of preferred this. So the Ping was an extra stiff shaft, and I basically just felt like it was a bit more hard work. I kind of felt like I could only hit one shape with it, straight or with a bit of a fade, and I've always quite liked being able to see a bit of a right to left shape on my shots, which I could get with this. I guess you could argue that it's good to know that the ball's only ever going to go one way, but it just felt like the Ping was more hard work sometimes, whereas this felt a lot easier to hit. I don't know if that's because this is just a stiff and that was an extra stiff. I'm not a shaft expert at all, but yeah, long story short, I just basically found this a bit easier to hit. It's not long story short, you've already told the long story, is it? But yeah, so that's why this is in the bag. In terms of what I'd want to replace this with, this is actually the kind of one area where I don't really have much of an idea. So in the 3 years where I wasn't playing golf, I wasn't like staying up to date with all the kind of latest launches and watching loads of like YouTube reviews of new drivers and that sort of stuff. So I don't really have a kind of idea off the top of my head of what driver I'd want in the bag. I guess basically I'd want to go for a fitting where I could like test out Taylormade, Callaway, Titleist, Ping, maybe Cobra, anyone else I've forgotten, and just see like, yeah, which one performs best and which one I get on with. But I would say that my driver swing speed is between 100 and 105 miles an hour, and when I hit this well, I think it carries between sort of 250 and 260, maybe getting up to 265 on a really good one. Obviously that's when I hit it well, you know, if I hit it poorly it might only carry like 220, 230 or whatever. Anyway, the point is, I feel like I'm probably pretty close to optimal in terms of the distance that I get out of this from my swing speed. So I don't actually know if I'd gain that much by getting a different driver. Yeah, let me know if there's any drivers that you think are the best out there at the moment. Next up is 3-wood. So this is a Ping G 3-wood. Basically I've got fitted for at the same time as I bought that Ping driver. 14.5 degrees, just got it set to normal loft, and this is just actually a stiff Ping Tour stiff shaft. To be honest, I don't really use this very much, like maybe once a round. I pretty much just have it in the bag so that this Tiger that I've had since I was about 15 has something to sit on. It's not uncommon for me to go a few rounds without even using it. And the reason for that is that I've got this 2-iron. So this is a Callaway X-Forged UT 2-iron, so 18 degrees. This is, I think, the most recent club in my bag. So I got fitted for this at Custom Lab Golf about 4 years ago, and that was a brilliant fitting. So I tried loads of different driving irons and a couple of hybrids, but I've never got on quite as well with hybrids. Ended up with this, which I really like. So it's got a KBS Tour Hybrid prototype, 95 gram stiff shaft in it. Yeah, it's great, but basically, if anything, it probably goes a bit too far. So that's the reason I don't hit 3-wood very much, is that I feel like this, I'm more likely to hit it straighter than the 3-wood, and it doesn't really go much shorter than my 3-wood. So I wanted something that would go kind of maybe 230, 240 off the tee and kind of keep me in play, because at the time the rough at my golf course was like savage, just a lost ball if you went in it, so I wasn't hitting driver that much. But yeah, this goes pretty much as far as my 3-wood, and the downside is, yeah, occasionally in the summer when obviously the fairways are firmish and stuff, this can go like 270. Maybe I should have got it in a slightly higher loft, but yeah, in general, still really like this. The only reason I'd hit the 3 wood is maybe on like a second shot on a par 5 if I need a bit more loft than this is going to give me, because obviously this is going to generally be pretty low. In terms of replacing this, that would really depend on what irons I got, because I'd probably want that to kind of match up. My irons are Ping I-25 with Taylormade Gold 105 S300 shafts in. I wasn't fitted for these either. Basically I got these when I started working for a golf magazine, and they kind of took pity on me because I was using Ping I2 irons from like 1980 that were probably as old as me. I've always had a bit of a funny relationship with these irons because I've never really loved them, so I've basically forever been considering replacing them. I've never quite been able to justify that because they sort of do everything that I need them to do. So they go kind of consistent distances, they've got good yardage gaps, they fly fine, they stop pretty quickly when I hit the green, and what else? Yeah, like they feel alright, but they feel good when you hit them properly. But yeah, I've never loved them. They probably wouldn't be what I would choose. If you've watched my videos for a long time, you'll probably know that I've always had this thing about wanting to play blades just because I love the way they look and I kind of love the idea of them. But I've kind of come to accept now that I probably wouldn't benefit from playing blades. You know, I'm not good enough or consistent enough to be playing blades. And also in terms of distances, I hit these what I just class pretty kind of like standard distances. So my 7 iron carries like 160, maybe 165. 8 iron would be like 150, 6 iron kind of 170, 175. So just normal sort of distances, I would say. And I don't think I'd benefit massively from having a set of irons that I hit like way longer, but also I don't particularly want to start hitting it much shorter just because I've got a set of blades in the bag. You know, I don't really want to be hitting my 7 iron like 145 or 150 or whatever, because I've got these kind of much weaker lofts. These are like fairly traditional lofts compared to a lot of clubs now, but anyway, don't need to get into all that. My point kind of there was that my dream irons, I think at the moment, would be Mizuno Pro 225s, because they've got that kind of look of a blade, but they're probably more forgiving than proper blades, probably get more distance out of them than I would proper blades, but they still look really, really nice. I've always, yeah, loved the look of Mizuno irons, love the idea of them. See, everyone always says nothing feels like a Mizuno. I don't really know if that's true because I've never really used them, but that would be probably my top choice. Other things I'd consider would be Taylormade P790s, same sort of reason, you know, they look a bit like blades, but probably help me out more. Or the 770s, Callaway Apex Pro maybe. So what I really like is an iron that looks like a blade, and particularly what I don't want is one with like stuff sort of glued into it, because probably 4 or 5 times while I've had these irons, these weights have like fallen out the back, and yeah, it just does my head in. Basically, I just want irons that look and feel good, but don't embarrass me on days when I'm not hitting it very well. Yeah, I think that's it. Let me know if there's any other irons that I should be considering. Right, wedges. These are Cleveland RTX3. I've got them in 50, 54 and 58. I was fitted for these quite a few years ago, and yeah, I like them, but given the amount that I used to play and practice, I'd say they probably are due a replacement now, because I remember years ago actually when I got these, I tested them against my old wedges, and the performance difference was huge in terms of like wedges being worn out and stuff. So yeah, I probably would benefit from replacing these. Shaft wise, True Temper Dynamic Gold S400. In terms of what I'd want in the bag, probably like the new Cleveland's, maybe Vokey SM9s, Taylormade wedges, they look nice, Callaway wedges, any of the kind of like nice blade looking wedges basically that sort of look and feel good. Maybe I would benefit from a performance point of view from like cavity back wedges, but I just don't really like the look of them as much. And whereas with the irons, I'm kind of willing to accept that I probably shouldn't be playing like a blade type. I feel like with wedges, surely I'm able to like hit wedges consistently enough to just use like a blade style thing. Those would be the kind of wedges that I'd be looking for. Or Mizuno ones as well. If I was getting Mizuno irons, I'd definitely look at Mizuno wedges. Right, putter. So this is a Bettinardi BB1. I like this in the fact that, you know, I like the way it looks. I've always just liked classic blade. It's just got the sort of single line for alignment. I like the fact it's black, yeah, very simple. I like the fact, if I'm being honest, that it's kind of premium, it's not super common. That's all the good things. Bad things is I'm probably not very good with this, if I'm completely honest. If I was going to replace it, I'd want a nice Scotty Cameron or some other like really nice blade, but I'd probably benefit more from a mallet. So I don't think I've ever putted better than when I had my mate's Taylormade Spider, kind of old, big red one, and I went for a putter fitting, and yeah, they couldn't give me anything that competed with that. But yeah, general sort of vibe was that that sort of putter is probably what was best for me. I do feel like on kind of any shorter putts, a mallet is always going to help me out more. But just in my head, I kind of feel like distance control and long putts, I prefer the idea of a blade, because it just feels like I've got a bit more feel, whereas a mallet, like, it's a big thing. For like 1 minute it could just go miles and therefore compensate the next one and go a bit short, but I don't really know if there's much in that. I used to really want an even roll blade because I kind of liked the idea of that, but maybe I just need to get better at putting and that would be more useful. But yeah, I like this. I just, if I'm completely honest, I don't know if it's like the putter that's offering me the best performance. Golf ball, this is a very recent switch, so I'm now playing Bridgestone Tour B XS, and these ones have actually got Tiger stamped on the side. Basically, I don't know if I'm a bit tight, but I kind of resent paying more than like, well, basically any box of balls where it works out as more than £3 a ball, so more than 36 quid. I just feel like it's mental, particularly when I'm losing them quite often pretty quickly. You know, like, it's not impossible for me to put a ball down brand new, hit it once and it's gone. And so if I paid like 45 quid or more for a box of balls, that gets pretty painful. So yeah, I did a bit of shopping around and I got 2 boxes of these for, it was like 32 or 33 quid a box, so that just feels slightly more palatable. In the past I've played Pro V1 a lot. I like a soft feeling ball, so I'd go like Pro V1 over Pro V1X. Played those Nike balls for quite a while because I was getting them for like 20 quid a box. Yeah, so far so good, really like this. And bag, it's a Ping Hoofer. Does a job. It's getting a bit worn out. There's a few like seams that are coming away, but I have had it for like 7 years, and obviously for quite a long time I was playing and practicing a lot, so no complaints in terms of its like durability. It's just that, yeah, golf bag's not going to last forever, is it? Oh yeah, I think that's it. Let me know if there's any clubs that you think I should be considering, and also let me know your current what's in the bag and your what I want in the bag, so I can have a look through and see if there's any clubs that I haven't thought of that I should be considering. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the future.